everybody. Can I have your attention? I'd like to thank everybody for coming out to the diving unit tonight. Looks like we have a good crowd. And this is Jim Landis. He's been a member of the Telford diving unit. We won't tell you how long, but it's been a long time. And he's going to give us, and he's going to give us the history about the diving unit. So, can we give him a round of applause?
Thank you. I joined Telford Diving Unit in 1964. So far back I hardly remember, but I do remember. And if you get one of our papers, that'll tell you who we are, what we do for the community. Like we're a group of divers. We like to dive, but we also want to help the community. And we do a lot of police work. And one of the biggest questions that is asked to me is, why is Telford Diving Unit in Telford? Or why are they in Upper Salford Township? You can't drown in Telford. Well, good. So, yes, they're the biggest questions. And the other one is, do you ever run into sharks? No, we don't go in the ocean. So, no, we don't run into sharks. And another one is, well, I heard Telford Diving Unit won't dive in Green Lane Reservoir because the muskies are too big. Well, let me tell you, the only time I've ever really seen a fish in closed waters like Green Lane Reservoir or Aquarium is when we were under the ice and the fish was cold, it couldn't swim away because we spook them. They don't come to see us. They're gone. They're afraid of us. So no, that's where that story started from, I don't know. But if you look at your paper there, that'll tell you, what we do. Okay. How did Telford Diving Unit, how was it, created? Well, Paxton Schwartz, back in 1947, he was a member of the Army Corps of Engineers. He retired, came home, person drowned in Collegeville up in the Perkiomen. So he knew how to utilize the fireman's air pack underwater. So he did that. He did not find the body. They didn't find that body that day. He came back to Telford Fire Company and said, hey, we could probably use an organization like this, somebody that could do this. Okay, so they talked to the powers to be, and so they decided, okay, if you're a member of the fire company, you have to be a member of, live in Telford, be a member of the fire company, to be a member of Telford Diving Unit. Okay, so they got together. Paxton Schwartz knew what to buy, like this helmet was made in 1947, and it's still good today. We don't use it because it's so antiquated, but yes, it is still functional. So they got together $300 and bought this equipment, which was a lot of money back in 1947. So they did that, and they had a number of calls, and as the story goes, we used to get 12 calls a year. Now, they weren't all drownings, but they did the same thing, But now, in our paper here, you're going to see what we all do, like I said. So, getting back to the history here, that when I joined in '63, there was only one member who lived in Telford and was member of the Telford Diving Unit, member of the Telford Fire Company, Telford Diving Unit. So, the powers to be in the fire company said, we don't know you guys. You're coming into our firehouse, which everything was housed in Telford Firehouse. We don't know you guys. You're going to have, if you want to carry on, you have to get your own charter. Do your own thing. Well, the first job I went on in 1964, we all took money out of our pocket to put gas in the trucks to go to the job up in the Lehigh River. That's how, we didn't have any money. We relied on, we relied on the fire company. So we had enough guys with enough incentive to do what we needed to do. So they said, you can use our firehouse in the other end of town. Okay. That worked out for a while. Then they said, no, you can't use that no more. Then Moyer and Son came along, said you can put your truck in our garage. That fell apart. So we moved around for probably 8 or 9 years. Till, what happens is, in 1970, so Jerry Landis and I, we got some fundraising events, meat drawings, beef drawing, sold some tickets to get some money together. Start a building fund. Okay. Well, we had no clue. Nobody gave us anything. Nobody in Telford gave us anything. So, God bless Sam Cole. That's this soul who's dead now. We were in a meeting in the Telford VFW, and Sam Cole walks in. No problem. Who are you? Well, I know about you guys. I know your situation. I have a commitment from the Green Lane, some hunting club in Green Lane. And Sam Culp had a farm across the road here. He said, if the hunting club wants to buy my property, if that goes through, I will give you the land and I will build your building for you. Well, this can't be true. There's something wrong here. Well, we didn't know Sam Culp, but we found out about Sam Culp. Anyhow, long story short, the sales agreement fell through. He came back to us and said, look, I won't build the building for you, but you can have the ground for $1. Here we are. So, fortunately enough, one of the guys, his father-in-law, lived in Schwenksville, Harold Preble, had just sold his farm, and he loaned us the money at a real cheap rate to build our building. Roger Couple built our building and gave us a great deal. So, up on the wall, if you can walk around up here, up on the wall is Harold Preble and Jerry Landis burning the mortgage. It's a picture of it. So we're mortgage free. Like I said, with our, we have a donation can over there, and this is how we get along. That's how. But we have no guaranteed income. Never had a guarantee. Sometimes we get grants from the state, but we never get hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's a couple $1,000s a year, which we're very grateful for. So that's why we're in Upper Southford Township. But we had, Ed Bechtel, he, mechanical driveway for us at a real good rate. So the people were very good. Upper Southford Fire Company, we were getting money from them every year. We helped them in the pizza kitchen for the Folk Fest. Barbara, she hooked us up here, and we did that for a number of years. But like I said, we have no guaranteed income. Everything we got to scratch and claw for. But we survived. We're still surviving. And like I said, we don't get called on drownings, not near like we used to, because nobody swims in farm ponds or lakes like they used to. So, which is good. Plus the water safety with the life jackets and everything else, they really promote that in the boats and things. So it's all a good thing. It's all a good thing. So what we're going to do, well, I want you to, back here is all memorabilia. You can look at that. Upstairs is memorabilia hanging on the walls. That's our meeting room. We meet every Monday night. We either have a drill practice somewhere or we have a business meeting at the first Monday of the month. But all this stuff hanging on the wall is old stuff that we used to use. Old equipment. Old helmets. That's the same as that one. Because when we dive, we always have a standby diver. We have a diver that's going to go in the water. Then we have another person dressed identical to him. In case this guy has a concern and needs assistance, he can go down and help him. But we dive with all the Navy rules. We have a Navy diving manual. It's about that thick. Whatever the Navy does, that's what Telford Diving Unit does. Where after that safety factor, they spend the money on how to do it the best, safest way. So that's why we do it that way. We have searching signals that we can. I give you a piece of rope, and if you know the signals that I know, I can talk to you down there. Right or left, up or down. That's all designed by the Navy. That's what we do. But they have old helmets up here that we old radios. See, with this helmet, we have like topside communication. The air is pumped from topside down to the diver. We also have radio communication, so we can talk to the diver. That's the safest way of diving. And we still utilize, we don't have this, this is the new one, the yellow one. Obviously there's a big difference. But that does the same thing as that. That does the same thing.
How much did the old one weigh?
65 pounds. And there's a weight belt here.
And they wore that as well?
Yeah, that's 85.
And what about the shoes? Are they weighted as well?
They are. Yes. We're going to address this young man here.
Does he know it?
Yeah, he knows it. We prepped him a little bit. Yes?
How far out do you go for rescues?
Okay, the question is how far does Telford Diving Unit go? Well, we go wherever somebody wants to pay us to go. We have been to Canada. Years ago, there was some men from Lansdale had a fishing trip to Canada. One of the guys fell overboard and drowned. Those people he was with knew about Telford. They flew 2 divers up to Canada to pick this guy up, to look for him, to get him. We've been to Ironwood Point down in Chesapeake Bay. One of the kids from Holliesville was water skiing and whatever. He drowned. So the family sent us down there, paid all our expenses overnight. We were down there for 3 or 4 days. And so, the sky's the limit, really.
So launch work is more recovery than rescue?
Oh, we're second responders. We're not first responders. No. That's somebody closer to the scene. Okay, that's somebody that's closer to the scene. This unit right here was given to us by another organization who stopped doing what we do. So that truck was, okay, Telford, do you want it? Well, we said, yeah. But, go ahead.
When you say you get down and the air goes down from topside down through a tube or something, right?
Yes.
How far down can a guy go? I mean, some of those places, those quarries are 200, 300 feet.
I was at 220 feet in a slate quarry up in Penn Archer. Yeah, that's a lot of down.
Yes, it is.
That's
Yeah.
about our limit, is about 220 feet.
Yeah, it's about max. Because our umbilicals were only so long, the airlines, we connect them together. But yeah. That's about as far as we'll go. Yes?
Doesn't Upper Telford Fire Company have their own water rescue?
Pardon me?
Doesn't Upper Telford Fire Company have their own water rescue?
Yes.
Do you work together?
Yes. Yeah, we work together with the whole county, the whole Montgomery County or Bucks County. You know, we're on, on the call list. We have boats. We have this boat. We have another boat in the back there. That, yes, we take them on, when high water rescue. Yes, we do that too. Yes. Yes, sir.
All right, so you pull out dead bodies, but if you go and look for guns, weapons, and work with the FBI or anything like that?
Yes, yes, yes.
Most of our calls recently have been evidence recovery, so there's a knife, a cell phone, gun.
And we've had people call us knock and mix it. I lost my tackle box and my fishing rod. Oh, really? Well, now look. We, for us to open the door costs $100. For us to roll a truck costs another $100. Now, what would you suggest? Well, I'll probably just go buy a new gear. Well, smart move. A guy called us, he lost his false teeth. Oh, really? It was over here. We call it the tooth pond. And a local thing like that, we like to do that because we've never been in that water before. I mean, that's strange water for us. So that's another place where we've been. Now we know what the bottom's like. We know how deep it is. So yeah, we'll do that. But what are the chances? Slim to none that we're going to find this guy's teeth. But anyhow.
You do like bridge and dam inspections and stuff like that?
Yeah. Years ago, before the state decided to do something different, we would go to Nockamixon every year in the springtime because they have all them boat slips over there. And we would go down there and replace cotter pins and replace different pieces of equipment underneath the water. They're all cabled together.
Right.
We'd do that, and the state would give us some money. And we went over to Greenland Reservoir when they were raising the grates, and we did work up there, and we did it at Nockamixon also. Just move tree branches away from the grates when they want to lower the water level.
Right.
Yes.
Now you do dam inspections at all?
No,
Does the state do that at all?
not that I know of. I don't know.
We have a couple sonar systems that we utilize. One's just a regular scanning sonar with a towfish. Our other sonar is sits on a tripod. It's very high resolution. We got that through Department of Homeland Security, which puts us in with the anti-terrorist task force in the area. One of the ideas is somebody sees something suspicious going on the bridge, we can go and inspect underneath the water with that. So we can do that kind of stuff.
Now is that a sonar or is that more like down? Like I have down imaging on my boat, and there's an arch bridge over at Nockamixon. When you look at it on sonar, it's just a blip. And when you look at it on down imaging, you can see the arch bridge plain as day. It's insane how.
Yeah, ours.
Is it more of what they call down imaging, or is it just a straight sonar?
Now ours is 360 degree. If you guys want to stop up and look at this, I can show you the detail that we can get. You can see individual blocks on it. It's very high resolution, and what's really neat about the tripod sonar is it's a low power, which means we can have divers in the water with it. The standard sonar will cook them like a microwave. But the scanning sonar on the tripod, we actually have divers on there. We go down to Flat Rock, just outside of Philly. There's dozens of cars down there. We'll put that in there and we'll run the divers and talk to the diver and tell them, keep moving to your left. Okay, you're ready to car. And they reach out and there's the car. So that really helps us with a lot of stuff.
So this is Chip McCarter. He's our captain. He's our captain.
Where the clothes for?
Yes, back here.
Somebody mentioned weapon recovery. Late 70s, early 80s, when I was with the Henry Police Department, we did proficient in Grant Street on the Allentown Road Bridge, and one of them snagged a piece of a gun.
Yeah,
Were you there, maybe?
I was there.
So we called you guys out. They were talking that much water, but
Right.
But you guys flew in, I guess, probably snorkels and recovered a bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
And if I recall correctly, somebody just wanted to get rid of guns, didn't know how to do it. One of us. We were off the bridge.
Well, we just had one in February. We were out down in Norristown. The water was about waist deep. Temperature's about 18 degrees. We had a bunch of our guys out there in dry suits walking around, and if they'd reached down and pick something up to look at it, when they brought their arm out of the water, there was nothing dripping. It just froze instantly. So we found it within an hour.
Yes.
Training you need to
First of all, if you want to be a Telford diver, you need to have a scuba diver certification. And we don't teach basics. We need you to have your gear, you're comfortable with your gear. We teach recovery diving. We don't teach basic scuba or anything basic. We need you to be comfortable with your gear. And we do searching on patterns with ropes. That's what we teach.
You need to be a diver.
You don't have to be a diver if you don't want to dive. If you don't want to dive, we have people that they don't want to dive, they want to be a member. That's fine. We have things for you to do too. But if you want to be a diver, that's the qualification. That's the qualification.
We teach everything else. For the surface supply, we start off with the scuba. It takes them 6 months to get through the certified hard hat diver with us.
One of the things that I found was really weird. Over in the state police call us something, somebody broke into a church up here in Telford. Stole the cross, stole the book, the holder that holds the book and everything. Found out that it wasn't gold, it's brass. So he threw it in the Schuylkill River. So we went over, and it was, it was that deep. We didn't have tanks on me or wetsuits like this. But here I seen the cross. I got up there, we're having a baptismal service. So we're going to dress Cooper. And why don't you get up, Cooper? He just graduated from Cambridge High School with a 4.4. He's in the marching band, plays a trombone. He's been accepted at Westchester, and he's going to be going to Westchester College. He's going to be in the marching band over there, so we're going to dress him tonight.
Going old school.
Jim, how many members do you have?
Do you want to go lightly?
How many members do we have
I do, yeah.
active?
Go ahead, you answer the question.
Up until a couple months ago, we had about 10 or 12. We just got 3 new prospective members in.
Yes.
And they've been very active with us. We actually got 2 more that we're trying to get in touch with and keep them coming up here for the first time. But we've probably got 12 to 15 active members right now, which is the highest we've been for a number of years. Okay, take your shoes off.
Sorry, it's a crazy stock day.
That's okay, I won't see them. All right, so first of all, we got a canvas suit. It's a rubber suit with canvas vulcanized to it on both sides. Basically what happens is this thing is waterproof, and with the Mark V helmet, it actually becomes a big balloon.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
If it's a big balloon, isn't it buoyant?
Yes.
That's why we pack on these weights.
When we were in practice one year, we decided to see how long it took us to dress a diver out. It took us 7 minutes to get a diver from where he's at, fully dressed in the Mark V. Which for us was probably a pretty amazing thing.
But that diver also knew what he was supposed to be doing.
Yes.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Your feet too big.
Yeah, it's better be. Okay. Hang on. You know, okay. Oh, so you don't have to jam it.
Take it other hand down. Yeah, bro.
Did you see this is the old suit? You don't wear this.
We don't wear this anymore.
We use the weights to go down. How do you get you guys back up?
Well, actually, you can actually float this. The whole suit together weighs about 220 pounds. I've actually had this thing floating on the water. They had me go across a quarry, come up a ledge, and then there was a ledge about 2 feet out of the water. I actually had to muscle that thing up and onto the ledge, turn around and sit down. So then they wanted me to climb back down and crawl back in. I said, I cranked the exhaust valve down, cranked the air up, I floated. They said, pull me back. So what they did here, the cloth pad they put in there is called a horse collar. What that does is it pads his shoulders from the weight of the helmet.
Actually, we don't have
Not going to put boots on? Okay. So the next step will be putting the boots on. These are about 12 pounds a piece. No heels. So
Can you see how much is it?
12 pounds a piece. These are the lightweight boots. We have heavyweight boots, which are 20 pounds a piece. So we're going to keep it simple. So the next thing, stand up. So if it turns around, you notice what we would do next is lace. These would have laces in them. We tighten that all down and tie it tight, because the last thing we want to do is get a lot of air in his legs. If he gets air down in his legs, he's just going to go upside down, and then he's not going anywhere. Okay.
Can't get that home.
Okay. There it is. Need some extra muscle. So as Jim said earlier, the breastplate and the helmet are 65 pounds apiece altogether. So our next step is going to be putting the breastplate onto the diver.
Do you want to go home now? Because I want you to go home now.
I joined in '89, and they had just phased this out and got the yellow helmet that's up on the top. But I've been in this about 10 times. I love it.
Love it. Why do you love it? Because that's
It's very
sounds
simple.
crazy.
There's not a lot that can go wrong with it.
Okay.
Um,
So you feel,
Oh yeah, a lot of new guys with the newer helmets and stuff, it's all claustrophobic. This thing is just wide open. The yellow helmet, the new one, it's called a Super Light
so
27.
they can only see what's in front of them.
Yes. That weighs about 24 pounds. Difference is all that weight's on your neck now instead of on your shoulders. So what they're doing now here, you saw the rubber seal on there. The breastplate has studs on it, which are going to go through holes in that seal. That's what's going to give the waterproof seal around for the helmet. Once they're done, we'll have them stand up and show everybody. So the tender, notice he's got a hand right here up on the breastplate. The diver's going to put his chin there. What that does is this metal, like any other metal, is very hard. Very easy to cut yourself open by bumping. We've had guys have chipped teeth. So there's always a hand there to cushion anything.
And when was the last time this suit was used?
Probably 1992, right around that area. That one you spent for practice. Okay, so now they got that in. So you good to go? All right, so they got everything mated here. You can see the studs coming out. So now what we have to do is put all the braces on and then clamp that down. So we have our braces. They're actually even
Wait, is that the one?
foolproof. They have front and back written on it, so you don't get them wrong.
Was that up on the table?
No, that was in our back.
Oh, okay. That's probably the here. So are they going to put that on there?
He has 2 12 hours on there. You want to try?
So now we've got to put the nuts on there. Just these little things that cranks it down and forms the seal. Now, a rule in the Telford diving unit is if you drop one of these nuts, it costs you 10 push-ups. So nobody wanted to drop them.
So I'm guessing there's no spares.
Well, we do have spares, but you never wanted to drop them because you had to do push-ups after that. Is it hot yet?
That wasn't convincing.
Yes.
How does the oil change when you walk out?
10 push-ups.
Somebody drop it. So, for every 33 feet of water, we increase 1 atmosphere. We're sitting at 1 atmosphere right now. So 33 feet, we're at 2. And what that pressure does, it's going to compress everything. So we need that weight to get us off the surface. Once we're off the surface and going down, it makes it a lot easier to go down. We can inflate the suit a little bit more to give us a little bit of buoyancy. But generally, when we're searching, we want to be right on the bottom. We're in the muck and everything else. I've been in a quarry where the mud was so deep when I'm on my hands and knees searching, the mud was about 2 feet above my head.
I was in a creek once in the Delaware. And a sign said, warning, electric wires. Get out, get out, get out. Getting out of the water. And there's all this sludge. It was up to my knees. I lost my flip-flops. I can't get my foot out of it.
So they have specially made wrenches, which they use to crank these down. Now we're not going to crank them down all the way. We put these very tight to form the seal. So there's one stud on here which actually is longer than all the others. They call that the bastard stud. Not sure where the name came from, but that's where the diver's air supply valve would sit. So what we have to do is reach here, crank the air up.
This will be fun.
So we're going to give them a break. We have our parade belt that we're going to put on them. The normal weight belt we have back here is 85 pounds. So we're going to give them a break and give them one that's maybe 20. But to try and maneuver with this is hard. Anybody see Men of Honor? The movie?
Yeah.
This is the helmet that they were using. We train it the same way. It's not very easy to walk in. So now we're going to put the weight belt on. So 2 straps cross in front, go up and over. The belt is buckled in the back. Then there's 2 more buckles for the straps. That keeps everything there. And then we have a crotch strap that goes under to keep everything nice and tight.
Did you know tonight when you came here, this is happening to you?
I did,
Why did you come?
He didn't understand what he was getting into.
Oh, you thought you were coming for ice cream.
Do you just hose everything down when you're done?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, inside and outside. You're sweating so much in this.
I was going to ask how hot is it?
Yeah,
Now, does it cool off when you get in the water? Or?
very much so. So basically on the top side, you're going to be wearing some kind of long underwear, thermal underwear, because when you get down there, it's going to get cold.
Even on a warm day?
Even on a warm day, the deeper you go, the colder it's going to be. But generally around here, the water, even at the bottom at 100 feet, is generally about 50, 55 degrees. It's not terrible, but if the longer you're down there, the more you're going to start feeling it. All right, so now he's all set up.
Now they want you to do jumping jacks.
All right, we're ready for the helmet?
He doesn't want to put the helmet on.
No?
Does it like affect the mouth at all?
Oh, no.
No.
Okay.
No, the windows are literally open in the front.
No, it's just like having a submarine.
So the way the helmet attaches to the breastplate, they call it interrupted bayonet threads. So you see them, they'll twist the helmet, drop it down, and they'll have to twist it back. So years ago, they had an accident. This is Mark V Mod 1, they call it. They had a diver coming up underneath the pier. He got the helmet stuck. Well, what they told him to do was try and move the helmet around. The problem that happened was he moved his body, got to the interrupted bayonet threads and drop right to the bottom. So on the back side, they now have a little lever. It's called a dumbbell. So that is always locked before the diver goes in place.
Okay.
It's not.
It's not going right.
No. So on the right-hand side is our exhaust valve. And then there's another valve over here called the spit cock. Now that's on the surface is open. And the diver will actually put his lips on the inside, and that's how he can breathe easier on the surface. Because right now he's not going to have air to the helmet.
All right.
So once the diver gets to this point, one of the tenders will tell him, dumbbell down and locked, exhaust valve open, air valve 2.5 turns, which means the air valve is open 2.5 turns. That way the diver has an understanding how much air he's going to have. When the diver's comfortable with that, he'll say, button me up. That's when they shut the faceplate, crank it down, and they turn the air on for it.
I have a really good picture for you when you're done.
Okay, we're going to undress him now.
Okay. So basically it's just the opposite of what they just dressed him for. Every diver that gets out of this has a big sigh of relief once you get out of there. I've had to sit in this thing for 2 hours in a parade up in Penn Archer we used to go to. And it was great. People used to come up there and just dump water down the suit to cool you off. And that's in September. Yeah.
Do you want to get in that picture too? Why don't all of you get in there? Because
Well, I think they were just those two first.
I'm sorry. Oh, is that his grandson?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. You didn't know that? Top secret information. I got some really cool pictures.
Any more questions about anything? If you want to come up and look at the helmets, yes.
Somebody mentioned sweating in the suit. What about when you get cold down there and other things happen?
You kind of have to hold it. I Yeah. So this is actually the most critical part, because depending on the depth he's been at or whatever, we need to get the diver out of this suit in like 2 minutes. If he needs decompression that we couldn't do in the water, we need to get him to a chamber. So it's very critical to get him out of here fast, especially on hot days.
So is the chamber in the truck?
No, we do not. Whenever we do anything deep, we give a call to the University of Pennsylvania. They are the closest hyperbaric chamber in Pennsylvania. But what we need is what they call a double lock chamber. You've heard of recompression chambers for burn victims and stuff like that. Basically call them coffin chambers, because that's about the size they are, and they're there. If we have a diver that needs to go to a chamber, he needs a double lock, because that means he's got problems. You could have a pneumothorax, burst alveoli in your lungs, or all sorts of different problems that we could have. He needs medical attention, so he needs somebody in the chamber with him to provide that medical assistance. The University of Pennsylvania is the only one that has it. So we call them up, make sure the chambers are up, and also we ask if they have their choppers flying. If the choppers are down for maintenance, then they'll call Hahnemann or somebody else with the choppers to put on standby for us.
So you don't fall in 3 weeks?
No, we have never had a diver get the bends with us. We attest that to the Navy manuals that we use. They spend the money on all the decompression tables and stuff like that. We follow them, and the Navy is very, very conservative with their tables. On a day like this where it's hot, if the diver's going to 100 feet, they're going to take the table at 110 or 120 and use that because the diver's going to get tired, he's going to be hot and sweaty. So they're very conservative in what they do. Their whole idea is not to get a diver with a bends or any other kind of injury, where the sport diving, they take the Navy tables and they tend to be a little more liberal with them because they're relaxed divers.
Yes.
They're down there looking at stuff, so their heart rates aren't running high, they're not working hard, so they can tend to be a little more liberal with what they're doing.
All right.
Is there a certain length of time that you're allowed to be down there?
It depends on the depth. At 60 feet, the rule of thumb is 60 minutes. That's our limit for public safety diving on scuba. Our standard air tank in scuba will last us at 60 feet for about 40-45 minutes. That gives us a little bit of reserve to come back up. 100 feet, you might have 12-15 minutes. The deeper you go, the less time you have before you have to start decompressing when you come up. So we could send a diver to 220 feet, have him down there for 2 minutes. He could spend an hour coming back up with the decompression.
Well, I was down for 20 minutes, and I had 45-minute decompression time at 30 feet. Then I had a 30-minute decompression time at 20 feet. Then I had another 15-minute decompression time at 10 feet. You need to exhaust the nitrogen bubbles. And you just sit there and inhale and exhale. That's what you got to do. Or you get the bends, you get nitrogen bubbles in your joints. And that's not a good thing.
Not fun.
But most of that occurred nearer to the surface than down at 200 feet.
At 200 feet, those bubbles are going to be very, very small, so they'll fit through your joints real easy.
But basically, then your wait time coming up is more or less near the surface for it.
Yes. As you're coming up, it has certain stops at certain levels, so you can believe that it's out of your system. If you brought a diver straight up to the surface,
I understand that.
from
What
there,
I'm saying is at 220 feet, you're not stopping every 20 feet on the way.
no.
So you came up most of the way.
30 feet.
At 30 feet was your first stop.
Correct.
Okay.
But you bring them up very slowly too. If we brought a diver to
the
220,
density of the water then, with the pressure of the water and everything else? Or? Well, we can't answer that. Whatever. No.
You got the suit on, you know, you just don't feel it.
Yeah.
And the air blowing, your suit's filled with air. Your suit's
Okay,
filled.
yeah, so you don't feel it right.
No.
I got it.
But the suit's filled with air.
if we brought a diver up from say 220 feet right up to the surface, it would be like taking a soda bottle and filling it up. It'd almost be like you're boiling his blood. It wouldn't be good. Yes.
What is that?
What's that?
Yeah.
Well, if you ever watched an old John Wayne movie,
It's been a while.
that's an air pump.
Oh, really?
It's, no, shh.
Oh.
That's what that is. Now there's,
Did they use that?
no, they never used it. There's an extension on that so the handle's longer, but we just took it off so it would fit there.
When I walked in, that's the first thing I saw, and I was like, I have to know what that is.
If the early John Wayne movies, they used that. They used that.
I have one more. What's that, Albert?
Pardon?
What's that red machine?
That's an air compressor. We compress our air into the tanks. It's regular air that we're breathing right now, compressed. It's not oxygen, helium, or anything. compressed
So you
air
fill your own tanks.
for our tanks and for the fire company. Same thing. They breathe compressed air just like we do. We'll go to a fire if they need more air. We have a cascade that we take to a fire scene and refill them tanks.
Amazing.
People all called out during Hurricane Ida for any rescues.
Oh, yeah.
We had a few.
Yeah. In fact, when hurricanes are coming in, the county will put a dispatch out that any water rescue teams, they want them stationed at the station. We spent numerous times on hurricanes up here all night long. Yes.
What dictates when you use scuba versus wearing the whole suit?
A couple things. Pretty much anything 60 feet or under, you try to do scuba. But if there's a lot of debris stuff in there, we'll opt for a surface supply in the shallower. Just because the diver can concentrate on if he has to move stuff around or whatever, he doesn't have to worry about whether he's running out of air or not. But a lot of it depends depth. Like I said, there's a lot of junk in the water or something like that. It just takes one less thing he's got to worry about. Because the diver never has to worry about his air supply with this.
Well, I'm going to say that concludes it.
The upper South